We are here live at Xperience, the Genesis annual customer conference in Denver. And because the theme of Xperience is accelerating experience transformation, we are going to talk about one way to do that, which is give customer experience and employee experience equal weight in importance.
And we have a very special customer with us today. They're actually so good at connecting their customer and employee experience strategy that they won the CX Innovator Award right here in Denver yesterday. I'm absolutely thrilled to introduce Felicitas Bürgi and Elia Spinas from Zurich Insurance. Welcome and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, would you introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about Zurich?
Absolutely. My name is Felicitas Bürgi. I've been working for Zurich Insurance in Switzerland for about 10 years. I'm responsible for business insurance and sales channel development, which mainly entails driving customer experience and employee experience by streamlining processes, introducing automation, and just making things better for everybody.
So first of all, thank you also from my side for having us. It's great to be here. My name is Elia. I have joined Zurich in 2015, and I'm currently head of customer care for Zurich Insurance in Switzerland, where I'm passionately working with Felicitas and her team and the entire team back home in Switzerland to hopefully create outstanding experiences for both the customers and the employees.
Ellie, I'd like to start with you. Congratulations on your win last night to both of you and to your entire team at Zurich. It's a huge achievement. We had 240 plus entries for the Customer Innovation Awards this year, so it's an incredible achievement. And your win was in the CX Achiever category, which is really about tying the customer and the employee experience together in a holistic strategy. So would you tell us what you've been doing and how you managed to get this prestigious win?
Yeah, thank you. So I think this is an excellent question. I'm convinced that, despite all the excitement around new technologies and innovations, as an insurance company, and especially as an insurer, at the end of the day, we're here to serve humans, our customers. And in doing this, I think our employees play a really, really decisive role. We're not even the most important role. And we recognize that creating a positive, engaging work environment for our employees plays a crucial role to create outstanding customer experiences at the end of the day. So, yeah, modern technologies are extremely important to us, but we see the biggest potential or opportunity with modern technologies to enable our reps, our employees, so that they can actually make the difference when they are directly interacting with our customers and make the difference.
So you're taking a modern approach to thinking about both the customer experience and the employee experience to create seamless journeys for both. So, and of course, you're seeing notable but secret business results. So why is this integrated CX and EX approach so important to your organization?
It's fundamental because we're here to serve our customers, and in order to serve our customers, we need employees that are engaged in the experience, engaged in creating these types of customer experiences. And we all know from our own experience, when our work is difficult or made difficult by gaps in technology, by unclear processes, by difficult management, whatever it may be, it becomes almost impossible to really focus on the customer and deliver those experiences. So for us, it's been extremely essential to focus on both and connecting them together in order to actually be able to deliver these kind of customer experiences that we're aiming for. And we also notice that it's something that is not done ever. Right. So while we're really appreciative that we got this outstanding award yesterday evening, we know we're not done. We're by far not done, and there's a lot more to do. And by connecting the employee experience with the customer experience, it also provides us with unique insights from our employees who are interacting with the customers that can actually tell us where we need to focus our attention to make things better for everybody.
What are some of the steps you've taken recently to improve the experiences you're delivering to your customers and employees?
Where to start? We really believe in continuous improvement. So it's not something that, oh, we've done that and now we're done, or we've done this and this is amazing and now we don't need to do anything anymore. We really have a long list of things where we know, oh, we can make this a little bit better, but let's do this other thing first. So one area that is always receiving high attention is, of course, routing and anything related to routing. And that's for all types of communication channels. So be it voice is obviously very critical because it's also extremely time sensitive for the customer that doesn't want to wait unnecessarily or be connected to wrong teams first and then transferred. So having the best possible routing experience there is really essential. And we continuously update our approach to that based on the feedback that we get, based on the data we have on where customers might need to get rerouted. But the same also is applicable for email, of course, where if we need to retransfer emails, we're losing valuable time, and we're also making employees not giving them the opportunity to deliver the best value because they have to unfortunately waste some of their time on transferring tasks instead of actually helping the customer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with the steps that you've taken, what are some of the benefits that you've seen so far?
So there are many benefits that result from that, of course. So it is very obvious that for employees, it's much nicer to work in an environment where the interactions they're receiving are actually interactions that they're enabled and empowered to handle. For the customers, likewise, it's much better if you finally get to talk to an agent. And by finally, I want to really put that in quotes because obviously we're doing our best that's as little waiting time as possible. But to reduce these types of drags on the routing process and on the experience of both employees and customers, it's really helpful. It really creates a measurable positive impact on satisfaction for all involved stakeholders. But there are also measurable improvements in all the classical contact center KPIs that you would track as part of running such a setup.
And what about you, Elia? What are some of the benefits that you've been most proud of or happy about?
Well, just to emphasize what Felicitas said, I think our focus has really been on taking the entire team on this transformational journey with us. And I think to see that everyone understands, that the North Star we're heading towards, and just like the overarching picture, that really makes me proud. So to really see the team working together towards that overall goal, that has really been great, I think. And that's probably my highlight in that transformational journey we've been on.
Amazing. So AI is the hot topic of the day. We've just come from the keynote, which was all about AI, but we're going to talk about that later. So you mentioned in your nomination for the award about large language models and looking at that for email triage. What are some of the other ways that you're looking at AI, testing it, piloting it?
So yes, AI is the hot topic of the minute, that's for sure. And it's really exciting, the prospect of AI and what will become possible. I think part of that is also remaining patient and realistic about the process of what can be done and how quickly things can be done within the contexts that are already there. So we're not starting over with AI, we're rather trying to empower and enable the things in a more seamless way that are already there and creating even better experiences as a result of that. You mentioned the email routing that has already benefited from that. So a lot of people are probably familiar with basic keyword search, whether we do it in our own Outlook mailboxes or in a contact center environment through queues that are routing to different types of teams or agents to answer the customer request. But what AI and LLMs are now enabling is really to move away from pure keyword-driven routings. And that's, I find, very exciting because we have encountered in the past often that you have a keyword that says, if your email said cancellation, that must be a cancellation topic. But if the email has a certain length, that one word could have just been some side note or something that just happened to appear in the email. Maybe it was like even a stream of emails forth and back that started out with that, but no longer is referencing that.
Yeah.
But still, it's hard-coded, so it goes into that queue, and employees then need to reroute it and send it somewhere else. So we really liked what we saw with using LLM to become more targeted at identifying the actual intent of an email and then routing it to the right team at the first try.
Maybe just to build on that, like even for the AI transformation or AI-related transformation we're in, also here, I think it'll be super important to have the team with us, in this journey. And what we're doing is really trying to explain the upside for the employees as well, so that we can not just optimize the customer experience, but also here, like how can we optimize the employee experience with applying AI and modern technologies. So this is really also the approach we're taking when it comes to AI.
Absolutely.
Speaking of the employee experience, it's not just the agent experience, right? For you, it's also your admin experience. So can you talk a little bit about some of the ways that the steps that you've taken have improved that experience?
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Which experience?
For the admins.
Oh, the admins, yes. It's really a whole different way of working. And I think what is really essential for us is the ability to be fast in changing and adapting and updating based on feedback, be it from employees, be it from customers, and really being able to go into the system, 2 clicks, and the routing is updated and going to the right place. Obviously, that was more critical when we were working with keyword routing. So now that we use LLMs, there's a little bit more accuracy and flexibility already built into the routing as is. But still, organizations change, new teams are coming, other teams get refocused. That's just part of business. And obviously, it's extremely helpful if we can also react to this kind of change in a very fluid manner and make sure that the customer doesn't need to notice that and still gets the best experience possible.
You've had so much success so far, a lot to be proud of, but you also hinted at a big roadmap, a lot of initiatives that you still want to do. So what are some of the things that you see coming up in the future?
Well, you mentioned AI before, so
I did.
I would not be able to omit that field, of course. AI holds a lot of promise today, and a lot of it is not very tangible yet. So if we're completely honest, yes, we're all very excited about AI and what might be possible in the future. But I think similar to other technological revolutions in the past, we also need to learn how to work with it. As Elia said before, it's essential to not only learn the technology, but also work with the change curve and really transform the organization in the process. That's probably going to be a requirement one way or the other. And it's not really something that works top down or bottom up or outside in or inside out, but it really needs to all come together for that to work. So we started with pretty basic, as you might want to say, intent recognition for email so that we know where to route it. We're really looking into CRM summaries to be written, for example, so that the employees no longer manually need to document their interactions, which is a tedious task in the moment. But then later on in the customer history, we all know how essential it was if our colleague last time actually did make a good effort to accurately transcribe and describe what was discussed with the customer at the previous interaction. So I think that's also a very useful point where AI relatively soon can provide a lot of support.
Yeah.
And all this sounds like a lot of technology, and it is, right? But at the end of the day, we're just trying to continue to improve our customer experience by just, increasing our response cycles and first time right and so on. And all this helps, again, our employees, because what they want to do is not transfer calls like from one part of the organization to the other. What they want to do is spend quality time with the customers and actually help them with their questions, because that's where they can make a difference. And that's, I think, again, where it comes to just focus on both customer and employee experience at the end of the day. So I think, summarized, we're just continuing to do what we've been doing.
So we just came from the keynote, Tony Bates' keynote, which was also live streamed on LinkedIn. What were some of the highlights for you from that keynote?
Well, obviously, it contained a lot of AI references. And as we're all figuring out how to go about it and how exactly that's going to work, I think there were some exciting elements in there to see in what direction Genesys is also intending to go and what you guys are working on. And I really think there's some takeaways that I'm going to investigate further afterwards. There were also, I mentioned the summaries of the conversation. So that was something that was part of the keynote and was shown in a demo, which sounds pretty interesting. And I'm looking forward to learn more about that.
Amazing. Elia, with a day and a half of experience to go, what are you looking forward to?
Well, it's so much to see and to experience here. Picking up trends, starting to build up connections and just understand what's happening outside of the insurance industry as well. I think that's super helpful for us to continue to challenge ourselves and just continuing to improve what we've been doing. So I'm very much looking forward to the next couple of days here.
Excellent. Well, Felicitas, Elia, thank you so much for joining us and sharing some of your strategies and your successes. Now, because you're in the CX green room, and that means you are a bigwig in the industry, we do have a small parting gift. Branded M&Ms, blue and orange, of course, because we are Genesys. So enjoy those. Enjoy the rest of the show. We look forward to bumping into you in the hallways and such.
Fantastic. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
having
much.
us.
Thank you, and congratulations again.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The theme of the show is all around accelerating customer experience transformation. So we are super excited to have joining us now as our next special guest, Brent Leary, who is co-founder and managing partner of CRM Essentials and one of the co-hosts of the very LinkedIn famous CRM Playas live stream show. So we are turning the tables and asking Brent the question for change, because usually he's asking the questions.
Yeah, we're normally on your show, Brent.
Yeah.
So it's very nice to have you here in the green room with us.
Glad to be here, and thank you for providing the snacks and everything.
Yeah, I mean you are a bigwig in the CX green room, so you do need the branded blue and orange
I like those.
Genesys M&Ms.
Very nice.
Because that's how we roll.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm really looking forward to it. I even broke out my classic Cleveland Rams. I don't break this out everywhere I go.
Yeah, I can't participate in this conversation.
Well, besides being a Rams fan, tell us a little bit about yourself and CRM Essentials.
Yeah, so I've been, CRM Essentials is a strategic advisory CRM CX company of one. Here's me. And I've been around, as you can see by the gray hairs, for quite some time, and doing a lot of writing and more recently kind of video stuff around just what's going on in the industry, what are the trends, what are the vendors doing, what are the customers needing from the vendors, and just trying to make sense of it a little bit.
Yeah. We all just left the keynote. What really resonated for you from that show?
Besides Lynn,
Yeah,
Lynn
amazing. Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
No, I think it was Tony said about going from, contact center as a service to universal orchestration. I mean, I hadn't really thought about it, about how far we've already come over the last year from where we were before, but just taking it, where could we be in the next year or two? And thinking about not just automation and AI, but something he said about, we kind of tell the stuff what to do. We try to tell our technology what to do. Getting to the point where if you have enough data, enough AI, and enough automation, it should be able to really not have us force it down a certain path. It should be able to tell us where the path should be And that really stood out to me because I think that's where we definitely need to go. And it's really cool and exciting to see it kind of talked about in those kind of terms and in those steps that go into that.
Yeah. The technology almost becomes invisible to the process, and as that co-pilot or that assistant, helping customers and helping agents and admins along their journey to deliver great experiences and have great experiences.
Yeah, and the other thing you said too, that this is like a great opportunity to really positively change not only the customer experience but also the employee experience. Sometimes people get a little weepy and saying things, and it sounds nice and soft and warm and fuzzy. But I think there's an actual opportunity here for a win-win-win kind of situation, in which not only do customers reap the great benefits of these kind of technologies, but the employees that are interacting with them should be able to reap those too. And so why not have a win-win here?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the third win is then for the business.
Yeah, because if employees are happy and customers are happy, that means like everybody within the organization, from executive management, the shareholders, everybody's probably going to be a lot happier than they were when nobody was happy.
Yeah. So the theme of the show is your future accelerated, and it's timely because nearly every CX leader, probably every CX leader, is trying to figure out how to keep their CX transformation moving forward. And there's a lot of great progress being made, but there are also some hitches. What are you seeing in the market that's kind of holding people up, and what advice do you have for them?
I think a lot of it still is, over the last year and a half, so much has changed. And it's been driven, of course, by Gen AI. And I think sometimes, and it's still moving so quickly and so fast, that makes people a little uneasy a bit. And some folks are trying to figure out, well, is this moving towards a path of me losing my job? And so I think there's a little apprehension to go along with all the excitement. And that always kind of makes it maybe 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of thing. And until people are really comfortable and really understand what the end goal is, you're going to have a lot of that. You're going to have some of that kind of thought and that sort of apprehension. But I think as we move further and further, and you see some of these Gen AI use cases go from kind of the song and dance and all the stuff to actually meat and potato. How does it help me do my job? The summarization stuff is really great. So I'm sure a lot of contact center agents are like, I don't have to write summaries anymore. That's great. That's good for me. And I said, you see more and more of those kind of use cases stacking up, and not having to, one of the other, I think, big announcements was these partnerships. And you're able to have, go in one way and get all these other things in the background working without you having to jump to all these different applications. They start to see, oh, okay, this is going to make me more efficient, more effective, happier. And as that goes on, you'll see a little less apprehension, a little more excitement for a lot of this.
Yeah, I think, the whole theme of AI coming into your job, being introduced into your day-to-day, it can be quite daunting.
Yeah.
And like what Elia was saying in the last conversation that we had, about it really being about bringing employees on that journey, showing that some of these technologies will really improve their daily working experience. That's really key to the whole AI project.
Yeah, I think you can't really blame folks for feeling, oh, is this being brought in so that I get left out? And I just hope people understand that these tools are there for you to do things better, and not necessarily to be, just to take over for you. The best benefit, I think, the most maximal benefit or optimized benefit you get from this is human and co-pilot working together, not co-pilot taking over everything, or human trying to do things that we're just really not all that great at to begin with. That's where you want this co-pilot to come in and help you so you can stay focused on those really important things.
Yeah. We have some research coming out next month that 24% of employees that we surveyed say that some expect that some parts of their job will go away, but that AI will bring them new opportunity, and that another 20% are excited to see what AI will bring to them. And then on the consumer side, they're looking forward to the potential of AI making the experience better and bringing more personalization, as long as companies are clear about the interactions. Like 80% say they expect companies to say whether they're interacting with a bot or a human. Like, don't try and get around that. Just be clear so I'm aware. Like, they don't mind that they're working with a bot. They just want to know they are.
Yeah, if a bot is going to help me and do it efficiently and effectively, hey, I'm all for the bot. But I think you're right. You don't want to think you're talking to a human and you're talking to a bot. There's no reason for people to not know who they're talking to and what piece of technology is helping them, as long as they're helping. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
So we talked about some of the obstacles that we're seeing. Where do you see that businesses that you're working with are making the most progress with talking about AI again?
Sure. I some personal experience. Ginger mentioned that me and Paul Greenberg started Players Productions Network. We call it conversational thought leadership, where we know so many people in the industry and great perspectives and great personalities, and we wanted to not just have him and I always on camera. We know a lot of great people. We wanted to create shows for other folks to have other perspectives, and so we have about 8 or 9 shows. That's like maybe 10 hours, 15 hours of content a week.
Yeah.
And one of the key things about these shows, they're all live streamed, but we all know people are busy and not everybody's able to watch it real time. So a lot of people take in the content after the fact. So how do we make it as easy and available as possible, and be able to pull out the key nuggets? Because sometimes people just don't have a lot of time to do 60 minutes, maybe 90 seconds, maybe 60 seconds. So how do you figure out what to pull out from 10 hours? I tried that and I was like, I can't do it. But there are tools out there AI video editing tools that allow me to take 10 hours of content, upload it to a server. They analyze it for it. They find the pieces that they think are the candidates for good bits. And then you pull them out and then you work around the edges. And so what might have taken me 10 to 20 hours to do is now taking me 2 hours. And it allows me to push out get these voices out there, get this content out there, and people really are appreciative and enjoying it and consuming it more and more. So that's just a personal way. I'm seeing all sorts of, we talked about the summarizations, the transcriptions, being able to leverage not just AI, but AI and automation to actually create these more efficient workflows. And it could go from customer service, it can do all sorts of different areas and functions in a company. But I think it's important for anybody who's interested to look out and just do a search on, how do I automate this? You will be surprised at how many tools are out there to do that, which is why I'm really happy with the tools I found that are AI, but they also are very easy to use. And a lot of them are very affordable at this point.
Yeah. A conversation that we were having earlier, thinking back to Tony's keynote and the orchestration model he laid out. And he talked about, going from 30 years to 20 years and, the future being 5 years to 1 year. What do you think about the timeline?
It's going to be like 5 minutes, 30 seconds. I mean, I see it. I mean, like I said, what is it? OpenAI came out with ChatGPT November of 2022 or something like that. It feels like it's a long time ago, but it really isn't. And it really is. It's changed the world. I mean, I go to a lot of these events, and the things that, like here, the things that people are starting to think about and do, they weren't thinking about and doing, and definitely weren't doing it. Yeah, a year and a half ago. Now they're doing all sorts of crazy things. Interesting, creative, but also affects efficiency and productivity. And that's the cool thing about kind of the time we're living in now. Most people, when they get their new technology, they focus on, all right, how do I do what I do more cheaply and more efficiently, so I save time and money. You can do that, but at the same time, you're also able to create things that you've never been able to create before. So you get kind of creativity and the whole productivity and efficiency going all at the same time, which is not necessarily been the case. It's usually been, we'll focus on these two things for the first year or two or so, and we'll get around to being able to do new things later. Now it's almost like they're being done simultaneously, which is really cool to see.
Okay, so the spotlight is on AI, and it's very bright, blocking out the light from other things happening. What else is in the market? What either strategy or trend are you watching that maybe isn't getting enough attention right now?
I think sometimes, it's great that what's going on with AI and everybody's looking at doing things that maybe they haven't done before. But I'm an old school DJ. I like to play around with turntables and things like that. And there's some really interesting technology. You kind of tying it back to content creation. Like, I've always heard a song that I really like and would love to just get a little piece of it. Now you got technology that takes a full song and will strip out the bass or the piano or the horn, and so you're able to now to deconstruct the song, take the pieces that you wanted, and make something for yourself out of it. And there's some AI involved in it, but it's not really about the AI. It's about actually being able to take software that deconstructs things that are really that you might have loved all your life and you would have wanted to do something with, and now you're able to do it, and it makes you even think about creativity a little differently, because now you're able to do things that you've always wanted to with some software, and it allows you to pull out that piece from this song and that beat from that song and that riff from this song, and now you're able to create your own kind of music from it. And it's stuff like that. Even looking at the cameras we're using here, 5 or 6 years ago, I wouldn't be able to afford any of these things. Now I've got like my own little home studio where I literally have those cameras that we're using, and amongst a lot of other stuff. So you can create your own home studio and put out some really compelling, really professional looking stuff. And sometimes, we get maybe fixated on now that generative AI can create so many things. But sometimes it's nice to be able to create some things like the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
And now they're even affordable, and you can kind of mix and match the two. So I'm looking at things like, being able to take real stuff and reimagine it without AI. Sometimes it's nice to just do it on your own. And I kind of fall back on that kind of thing.
So we have a day and a half left at Xperience. What are you looking forward to?
So I was at the ServiceNow's Knowledge last week, and they announced the partnership between Genesys and them. So I got it from one perspective. And so luckily I'm going to be able to get it from the Genesys perspective a little later. I'm going to be talking to, I did talk to Jack Nichols briefly at the Knowledge, but I'm going to talk to him a little later, and they're going to bring in the ServiceNow group. So I'm going to get a deep dive into what's going on between Genesys and ServiceNow with this new partnership.
Yeah. Exciting.
So I get to ask questions.
Awesome. Well, Brent, thanks for spending some time with us here at Xperience, sharing your thoughts and expertise and predictions. And we will see you next time on the CX Green Room. Thanks again for joining us, everyone. Be sure to like and share.
Thank you.
I'm taking these.
All right.